Shawn, thank you for taking some time.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure meeting you and hearing your story, but I'd like, some of our people that watch just to kind of hear how this all came about.
Well, it's actually an interesting story. This is not our first location. I actually started this when I was about 16 years old, something I did with my dad. My dad and I didn't really get along very well, but it was the one thing that we actually did together that brought us together. And we would search all over Long Island looking for koi. We had no idea what we were doing, but it stuck with me. It was something that I always loved to do. Got into another career. I designed video games for 20 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
For a company called Acclaim Entertainment and a few other companies. Actually did a lot of work in the UK. Pretty much lived in Croydon for
Southeast London. Wow.
Yeah. So worked for a couple of companies over there while I was working at Acclaim. And this, again, always stuck in the back of my mind. It was something that I always loved. And then I worked for a company in Minneapolis. Really, I'll try and do this as quickly as possible.
No, all good.
This company, I would work via satellite. So I worked from my house, and I worked for them for the first year, and they weren't sure where they wanted to go. And they were like, the second year came around, and they were like, listen, we're not sure if we still want to be a game publisher. We don't want to lose you. We're going to pay you full salary for an entire year, but we don't need you to do anything. We'll call you when we need you, but we don't want to lose you. So I was sitting in my backyard, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put a pond in the backyard. I'm not doing anything. And that's how it started all up again. So I put a pond in the backyard, and then I told my wife, I said, you know what? I think I want to try and sell some koi. And I partnered with actually a domestic koi breeder in the US.
Oh, wow.
And we became the outlet store for that koi breeder. And I was selling, working for this video game company during the week and selling koi on the weekends. And we did that for a while, and it was going all right. We started koimarket.com. And I had this crazy idea. So Flushing, New York is about 45 minutes from here. There's a large Asian community in that area, and I decided to run an ad, a translated ad into Chinese, saying, "Hey, I sell koi. Come on, come to my location." And a literal busload of customers came in, like a bus pulled up to my house. And they were in my backyard, and my wife was like, all right, you proved yourself. You can turn this into a business.
Wow.
Get this out of here. And that's how Koi Market was formed. And
that's one hell of a journey.
It was kind of crazy. And we found a nursery in Huntington, which is about 20 minutes away from here.
Yep.
And the idea I had was, let me find like a really high-end nursery where we're not cannibalizing sales from them, where their customers are, maybe they have a pond, or maybe they might be interested in a pond, but we're not taking business from them, and we can kind of feed off of each other.
Yeah.
And I found this place, Main Street Nursery in Huntington, and we were there for 10 years. And it got to the point where we got so large that our customers were taking up their entire parking lot. And they were just like, you know what, enough is enough. Like, thank you very much for all your time. And they gave us a year to get out. And it got to the 7-month mark, and I still couldn't find a location, literally. And they were just, they were getting very upset. They're like, listen, you got to leave. And it's not like
it's not like
you can't just take you're like a nursery that sells trees, and I just need a space to put them in. Like, you have to build everything first in order to bring, because we had a lot of fish we had to move over. So I had to build a facility.
You've got to have a stable facility as well. That's
absolutely. So
sure.
I was making a right at this Deer Park Avenue, and we get 100,000 cars a day pass by this way. Another 15,000 pass by on this road every single day. I was making a right here to go to a customer's house, and the owner of the property, and this was actually a bonsai nursery, but I didn't even know it was here. It was covered with trees. He just put the for sale sign out, and I said, "Oh my gosh!" I went around. It's a 1-mile loop. I came back around again, and I met the owner.
Yeah. I
made a video. I showed it to my wife, and she said, "This is the place." And we just knew this was it. And we've now been here for 4 years. We bought the property. It's a 1-acre property here. We have our pond showroom here, and we have all the way over here. We have our retail store. And we have our fountain displays in our bonsai area, our aquatic plant areas, multiple koi houses. We have grow out houses in the back. We have quarantine houses in the back. Literally, there's another 10,000 koi back there that you haven't seen.
Wow.
So we have probably
total stock?
Probably about 15,000 fish. We're one of the largest Japanese koi importers in the country.
That's nuts.
All from an idea in the backyard.
But it shows you where a hobby can lead. And this is an infectious hobby because I know what it's like when you walk in and you think, oh, I'm just going to go and look.
Yep.
And then you end up buying half the shop and everything else. And it just, you've got one fish that you really love and you think, oh, maybe get a couple others to kind of accommodate and be there. And I mean, I started off with my aquatics having one tank because of a daughter. I wanted my kids to,
Right.
That was my excuse. And now I have 13 very large tanks in my house, and it's kind of taken over.
Sounds pretty normal, actually.
But yeah, when you're in the aquatic life. So let me ask you this. When people come in here, because one of the concerns or the one things that comes to mind to me, when people walk in here, and I've done a few videos of different like pet stores and aquatic places across Long Island over the last few weeks, but I've also done it in other parts of the world, is when you sell fish, you still I feel as somebody who sells fish that you have that duty of care to make sure they're going into the right environment. And there are a lot of people that haven't got a clue. How do you handle that?
It's an excellent question. I mean, we started out from the fish side of the business. So fish care has been a huge part of what we do. Filtration is also a huge part of what we do. I have 4 trucks that go out every single day to maintain customers' ponds.
Wow.
Spring openings right now. So it depends on where in the world you live. You live in Florida, you don't close your ponds. Here, where we are,
winter. Yeah.
I mean, it gets really cold. Everyone shuts their ponds down. Otherwise, everything's going to freeze. Everything's going to crack. So we do winterizations. We do winter maintenance. We do routine weekly, bi-weekly maintenance.
So you're fighting fire all the time.
All the time. We handle over 300 customers spring openings alone, where we literally empty the pond out, power wash the entire pond, and we start out fresh every single year.
Yeah.
And then we have our routine. We have hundreds of customers to go to on a weekly to bi-weekly basis. And like I said, we have 4 trucks that go out and do that. But for us, filtration is the key to success. You can have the best looking ponds since sliced bread was invented, but if the filtration is not right, filtration, aeration, circulation, the 3 most important things. If you don't have those 3 things, then the pond can't sustain itself. You're just going to run into big problems. So that's, for us, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've seen often is like, things can change like that in a pond. And you're one of the few that has the seasonal changes, so you can cope with that. But a lot of people, like you say, they've got the all year round, and they love their ponds, and then they overstock them. They don't understand the ammonia and the nitrite spikes. And I experienced this recently because I'm rearing in a large tank. And I was like, a little bit of a nitrite spike, a little bit of algae, because of the direct sunlight. And in a 12-hour window, everything changes.
Everything changes.
So, what do you say to people when it comes to just taking care and knowing what to look for when, everything looks normal, and then you think,
it's an interesting thing. I mean, you have your customers who just want someone to take care of the pond for them, and they just want to enjoy it. And then you have the customers that want to be hands-on. We believe in education. Yeah. So we do classes here.
Wow.
We do a live show here. We do multiple live shows every single week where we're selling fish. And I do what is called I call it edutainments. So I'll sit and generally it's every Saturday. I'll talk for an hour about caring for your pond, opening your pond, filtration, the importance of aeration. We go over all of these things. But the most important thing, as I go back to, is about filtration, and it's all about becoming a keeper of water.
Yeah.
Understanding that it's not a set it and forget it. And you do get a lot of pond builders out here that they sell these ponds on the idea that it's a set it and forget it.
Self-maintenance.
Like you don't have to do anything. It's self-maintaining, and it doesn't work like that at all. These do take maintenance. They do take care. And I talk to customers of filtration as an example. Customers, I'll say to a customer like how often are you taking care of your filtration? Are you backwashing your filters? And they say, well, the filter is taking care of it. I'm like, well, you don't understand. So the filter's job is to capture the debris, but you're only taking the solids from point A to point B, and point B is still in the water table. So if you don't actually clean point B, you've only moved it from one location to another. It's still in the pond. You're sifting the water through that, harboring bad bacteria. leaching out tannins. The importance of filtration is, it's not just that the filter is filtering it, it's actually you maintaining that filter. A filter's job is to capture debris, but if you don't actually clean that filter, you're only moving the solids from point A to point B, and point B is still on the water table. So you're still sifting out all the tannins. You're leaching everything back into all those organics are food source for algae to grow. Harboring bad bacteria. So it's super important to make sure you're maintaining on a weekly to bi-weekly basis. And then you tell customers that, like, wow, I'd never clean out the filter pads. Like, they're just, you want to know why you have string algae. String algae, you have excess organics in the pond. This is the reason why you have to clean all this. You want to know why you have bacteria.
Cause and effect.
This is your cause and effect, exactly.
And one of the other things that, I think you're one of the perfect people to ask this question, because one of the things that I found, you were talking about this, self-care, just leave, and a lot of people have moved into, we're in this instantaneous gratification world. And one of the things I found before I built my own biofilters was, going online, and they sell you on this idea of, hey, here's this filter that you can then, you can purge all the stuff out of it. You don't ever have to open it. It just goes. And they don't realize about the cause and effect side of things, because biology and science, it doesn't make sense. But for the average or the layman, they just see this amazing filter that they can buy one off and never have to do anything.
Yeah. Well, everything, it's funny. You have these companies that are putting all these mechanisms and sensors in place so that they can automatically manage your pond. But all those things, it's kind of like it's not a when something will break down. It's it's not an if, it's a when. And so they still take maintenance. And when they do break down, then what do you do? This car's pulling in. It's a Sunday.
It's going to get busy.
We hit a certain time, and then cars just start rolling in. It's usually right after church. So everything takes management. Drum filters, for example. Drum filters work great until there's something wrong, and when there's something wrong, it could be disastrous.
There's that tipping point.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, how can people connect with you? What is the best way for people to support you? Is it visiting here? Is it just buying from your shop? I think listening to your station or your channel.
I appreciate that. So we have a lot of ways. Obviously, we have our website, it's coinmarket.com, but we also do our live shows, and our live shows we do on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and right now Saturdays. So depending on the time where in the world you are, it's you'd have to go and check out our website and see what the times are.
Oh, amazing. Well, Shawn, thank you so much for sharing the time, man.
You're very welcome.
On a busy Sunday where everything's about to hit the head. Thank you so much for spending the time.
You're welcome.
And I look forward to seeing where our conversations go. And if you're watching this, make sure that you go and follow, comment, subscribe, all of that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Again.
Man, absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
This is a lot.
We've done a lot.
Yeah.
We've done a lot. We scratch our heads all the time like holy cow, we've built so much in 4 years.
People don't realize on the surface how much goes into this. Because just, you like you say, you've got 15,000 fish. The filtration systems, making sure that everything's balanced, and the heating and the
we also own the company Koi Pharma, so we manufacture all our own fish medications and water treatments.
That's great. Okay, you've come a long way over the last 15 years. That's one hell of a story.
Too many things.
Listen, I'm going to hit the road. I better get back before I'm missing an action.
And,
I will do indeed.
And
whoa! You good? Okay. Carry on. You were talking about filtration.
So we were talking about filtration.
Where do you spin?
Either.
Either way?
Yes.
Oh.
I think that.
a pleasure this has been. Look at these koi long fins.